Hello everyone, how are you today? Today I would like to draw a hermit crab. Now, every time I draw a hermit crab, it's a little bit different than the time I drew it before. And sometimes when I draw it, I don't like it. When that happens, you know what I do? I just draw it over again. So I'm going to draw a hermit crab today. If I don't like the way it looks, I'll just redraw it later. Alright? And I suggest you do the same thing. So grab a pen and come along and draw with me. So it doesn't matter which way you orient your paper with this, up or down, left or right, doesn't matter. What matters is your hermit crab has a great shell. So let's get started with the shell. I drew a snail a little while ago, and I started with this line. This is the edge of my shell. Now in this case it's going to be a hermit crab shell. The other case it was a snail shell. So now that I have this, I'm going to go up and over. This is like the edge of my shell. I'll go back and I'll do it again. Shells have very cool spiraling kind of ways of existing. I'm not going to go too far. I'll just do 3 of these. So that's going to be my shell. 3 of these guys. From here, I'm going to go up like I was going to go in between these two, but I'm not going to draw that. And then I'll go back up here, but instead of going in between these two, I'll just stop. Oops, I stopped a little too early. And then here, instead of going here, I'll just go. So something like that. Now that kind of looks like a spiraling design. That'll be good enough for this hermit crab. Okay, so our hermit crab's going to be peeking out of under his shell. I like to just make a couple eyes right here. Hermit crabs have their eyes on little stalks, so little stalks is okay. But the thing about hermit crabs is they're mostly like legs and claws. Coming out of that shell is barely any crab, it's just a whole lot of limbs. So, and their limbs are all very banana shaped. So I'm going to draw this thing kind of like a banana, like a curvy thing. And then a little piece of it is missing, a little triangle, and then go back up. And there's the other part of my banana. That's one of my hermit crab's claws. Now that's not really what claws look like on a hermit crab, but that's okay, we're just drawing a cartoon. And cartoons can just be like the impression, or the idea, or the symbol of something. So that's enough to suggest that there are claws there. If you want, you can figure out how the claws really look and draw them. That's up to you. Now the legs. I don't know how many legs I'm going to put in here. Lots of legs is good. But I'm going to make a nice banana-shaped looking leg. They have lots of weird banana-shaped legs. And some of them just seem like they're longer than others. I don't know. So there you go. There's some banana-shaped legs coming out the right side. I also have to put some coming out the left side. Just banana-shaped leg. And you really can't go wrong with these as long as you keep them banana-shaped and you put a lot of them. Alright, so that now leaves me with the actual crab itself. There's not too much that I want to do to this crab except maybe put a little kind of like ball. Let's call that my crab. And maybe I put a little smiley face in there. So now there's a little empty space in here. I can fill that up with some more legs if I want. When you're drawing a hermit crab, when in doubt, draw legs. Okay, now just because I like to put shadows in, I'm going to put a little shadow in here. Kind of show that there is an underside to this whole little crab, that he's standing up, that all these legs are helping him to stay up. So something like this. There we go. Alright. Now, I think my crab looks pretty good. I think it's done. Maybe I'm gonna put a little sand here, a little grit. The crab's walking around on a beach or something. Alright, now I'm gonna go back. I've got 2 pens. I've got this ballpoint pen that I've really been enjoying recently, and I've got this nice Sharpie that I've been working with. And I'm going to use them both. I'll start just by putting in some lines here on the legs. Just some bendy lines to kind of make it look like they're segmented. Because if you look at a real picture of a hermit crab, their legs and their claws have all kinds of plates and segments and joints. It's crazy looking. But just by putting these in here, we kind of create the impression that those joints exist. And that is enough. I mean, you can add more, but just doing that's enough. I'm going to go back with this ballpoint pen, which is even lighter, and just kind of shade a little bit. Because those segments and those joints and everything, they're strangely rounded. Everything is kind of rounded and has multiple sides or multiple faces or multiple pieces to it. Multiple, not pieces, dimensions, I guess. So I'm just going through here and adding a little bit of shadow and kind of curving it so you see that it feels like maybe this guy's a little bit curvy. Like he's not all hard, fast, straight lines. And I mean, this is really up to you how much you want to do. You could go really nuts if you wanted to put shadow underneath the shell or something like that. But this goes a long way to kind of making your crab look a little bit more organic, a little bit more alive. Also, the shells that they inhabit tend to have patterns on them, tend to have lines or look a little mottled or have a little texture to them. So I like to use my ballpoint pen to maybe go in here and just kind of reinforce that that spiral part. If that's not enough for you, you can go back with this other Sharpie marker, and push it, make it a little bit darker. Maybe you decide you want some shadow on the edge of your shell here. You can do that too. I think that'll help. That'll help pull your little hermit crab out of looking flat and make him look a little bit more alive. So I don't know, I think that's pretty good. I think I'm almost done here with this hermit crab. So I guess I'll call it quits. So thanks very much for drawing with me today. I'll see you around.